Beneath the shadowed canopy where whispers lingered deep, Helldivers stood as guardians where tyranny dared to creep. Their hearts ablaze with courage, their souls a steadfast flame. Against the cold metallic tide they battled without shame. The jungles thick with sorrow, they marched without retreat. Each step a silent promise, each heartbeat drum defeat. Their voices joined in unity, a hymn of hope's refrain. As they faced the iron onslaught, their resolve would never wane. In the crucible of conflict, where darkness meets the light, they fought for liberation, with valor as their might. Their names may fade to whispers, their deeds lost in the fray, but the spirit of Malevolon Creed shall live through every day.
Freedom's Metal Shredders, that charming piece was Spirit of Malevolon, the folk version, which Rogan had recently revisited and touched up. I just so happened to receive an advanced copy. I consulted with Rogan prior, and he told me that this was an exclusive look behind one of the first tracks that he ever made that was originally envisioned as a folk song, released as a Palomel track, and is now revisited to fulfill his original vision. Much like the creek itself, swaying back and forth between Seif and automaton hands before finally arriving at its pristine, liberated state. I understand that there are hotels and vacation spas built on the planet now, as its unique, forever twilight blue hazy atmosphere is something of a tourist draw. If you're interested in hearing the full patriotic version of Spirit of Malevolon folk version, and recalling the memory of lost comrades over a fine alcohol-infused beverage that I am still not legally of age to partake of until next year, the song in question is available on my own channel as a kind of cross-promotional piece. As an aside, don't you think it's weird that I can own firearms and go to war killing bots and bugs for Super Earth, yet I can't drink until I'm 21? I think that's weird. Anyway, Borrelia 5 saw its liberation today after several days of Helldivers conducting partisan tactics to soften the planet up for the inevitable hammer blow of Super Earth might. And with that ticked off our list, the Liberation Fleet made their choice and moved on to Astotu next. As of right now, 51% of all Helldivers are working Space Afghanistan over, with only a 9% pittance cover in Wezen to little effect, proving it to be just as unpopular as I claimed that it would. Asada's situation is mostly unchanged from the state it has been all week. Undermanned, at least in comparison to the sheer size of the terminus swarm chewing on the planetary screen door, and slowly losing liberation value. At this point, most of the planetary defenses have crumbled away, leaving only orbital deployment as the main option for insertion. But that fits the bug divers just fine. They get to play their merry trade, so I suppose that they're happy with that arrangement. Sometimes it's not the destination, but the journey. Speaking of journeys, I've crunched the numbers, and my prediction is that the major order will expire midday Friday, with us about halfway through Wezen's liberation, assuming it follows the same pace as the other major order planets. Having to deal with the roadblock of Coopessa 4 before work could even begin on Operation Iron Wrath costed us an unrecoverable delay, but don't let that bring your spirits down. Even if High Command is shaking their heads and making little tisk sounds, I'm very appreciative and impressed by your achievements. You overcame a lot and accomplished a good chunk of your to-do list, and last I checked, 90% is still an A in my classroom. So, with the movements on the galactic sphere wrapped up, I'd like to shift the conversational topic over to something I saw while reading on the GWW today. We're somewhere confused about the significance of Malevolon Creek. I've dabbled on this topic a few times in the past, but let's really get down to the brass tacks and dirty details here. As for why this planet was so important, it really wasn't. Let me finish. Putting it in historical perspective, this was Super Earth's Battle of Wake Island, the point where people started taking this war seriously, and where fledgling news services started popping up across the greater whole of the GWW. My own radio broadcast might have come too late and missed it, but the Bringer of Mercy was present for many battles on the creek, as well as its final liberation, which is stuck to this day. Make no mistake, the automatons of Malevolon felt Mercy's bitter sting, and might be one of the reasons why they're a little hesitant to come back.
Go ahead. Take it from me.
love. When you stare into their electronic eyes, you will see fear and loathing in equal measure. To them, we are the monsters in the dark. We are the things that bump back in the night. This is a horror movie, and they're the screaming cheerleaders. But yes, for that reason, Malevelon Creek will live in infamy as, dare I say, the first major hard-won campaign of the war. A lot of bot divers first cut their teeth on that cerulean murder marble, but it is hardly the bloodiest. Let's put some numbers to that claim, shall we? Now, bear in mind, the battle for Malevelon Creek lasted for weeks on end at a time when the Helldiver Corps were sporting its highest numbers of recruitment. The sum total automaton kills for the Creek over that time period is 376 million, with 25 million Helldivers KIA and 5 million missions won. There's also like 597 Terminid kills on that planet. How? Why? I don't know. I really don't. Maybe some ensign left the Pelican open, a bunch got in, and they only realized it once they had warped to the Western Front. Or maybe some bug divers keep catheter terminids for whenever they're on bot major orders and are feeling a little homesick for some target practice. Your guess is as good as mine. Let's compare this to a place like Menkant, with 2.1 billion bot kills and 91 million Helldivers KIA. Menkant can fit 4 creeks worth of seed casualties within its scalded confines, and nearly 5.5 times the creek in overall bot kills. Just to humor the Knights of Cold Steel, let's look at Estiner next. It's hardly fair to compare bot kills to bug deaths, so this is really just for the sake of being thorough. 8.1 billion Terminids dead, or roughly 15% of all Terminid kills for the whole of the war, and 141 million Helldivers KIA. I think you're starting to see what I'm getting at here. My source for all of these numbers is the Helldivers 2 companion app, which is a marvelous, wonderful service that is one of the 5 that I use to keep tabs on every aspect of the Galactic War, and something everyone should have. Link in the description. The Creek was merely the first battle in a much longer war. The first step in a larger journey, and the first sacrifice we had to make to ensure Super Earth's continued dominance and glory in a cold, cruel galaxy filled with danger, darkness, and... I'm blanking on the third word and coming up short. Rock and stun. These lives were not lost, but willingly given, and tonight we remember those who gave their blood to defend our home world. Hail the victorious dead. That's been Liberty's Latest with me, Pondera, the Radio Angel. Tomorrow looks to see more progress being me and on the Stotu, with this victory ETA being 20 hours from now, and then we'll see what we can be done with Wezen after. There's always a brief time after each major order until we receive another, so even if we don't make the deadline, we might still be able to get Wezen knocked out on overtime, which presents the bots with my favorite part of the game: sudden death. For liberty, for freedom, for democracy, and for Super Earth.